This is going to be a bit of a challenging discussion, and we'll do it we'll do it in a short time here. We might go over a little bit, but this is our good friend Pete's lovely pizza oven, and what we're looking at is we're looking at it from the back. Pete, I hope that it's okay that I'm sharing this. I thought this was going to be a great conversation, so I wanted to talk about it with folks. We're looking at it from the back, and in the front of this oven, you've got a riserless core and an oven. And then what we're looking at is this back location that accesses the flue gases coming out of the core. And what Pete is trying to do is get this core to heat. Oh, for some reason I don't have the bench photo. Pete? Oh, there it is. So to heat this bench. Now he's made this amazing pizza oven. And now he's trying to add a bench. And if I can find the email, I'll just read you what he says. So Pete says, I'm getting there. My oven is close to perfect. Had it tested by a professional chef last Sunday, and he simply loved it. They actually pre-ordered one. So that is awesome to hear that we are getting, that Pete, that you're getting such great feedback on the way this thing cooks. I think that's wonderful. So he says, the extra feature of a warm bench doesn't work so far. Seems like I'm having trouble pushing gases into it. Seems like no heat at all is going in, and the stove starts smoking, loses draft. I've tried to make all air baffles and gaps as airtight as possible with some improvement, but still no hot air going into the bench. Question is, what conditions are needed to get hot gases to move down into a bench? Is it room for expansion? If yes, how much? So on and so forth. So please show the pretty side too. I know that picture wasn't pretty. It's beautiful, Pete. I love this stove. I love the way it looks. I love the patina. I think it's so cool. And it's a beautiful design. And actually, I don't really 100% know what's what in this photo. I assume that since I can see that you have a clear path to the chimney here, I'm assuming this is the up from out of the bench and this is the down in the middle, but I'm not 100% sure. But it doesn't really matter. Let's talk about why it's not working. So there's one big clue in your questions, and it says, it seems like I'm having trouble pushing the gases into it. Well, you are, Pete, because you can't push the gases. You gotta pull them. That's the number one thing that you're struggling with here. Is that in all of these builds, until things get warmed up entirely, you're only going to get those gases to flow through the system with draft at the end, okay? With draw. So first and foremost, we need to maintain heat in the flue gases to get to the chimney. I know you know this. This is a simple concept. But we got to have heat there to start creating that draft to pull things along, because we can't push. We got to pull. Now, second part of that is in the pulling. Now, imagine you guys have pulled on a like a syringe when you're pulling up water, or a pump or something like that. When it's sealed and you go to pull up, you can feel that you're pulling all the stuff, and the seal's getting tighter. But if there's a leak, what happens? The water doesn't come up if you're trying to pump, or if you're trying to syringe, this doesn't come up because you've got a leak. And all of your suction is just drawing air in through your leaks rather than pulling your gases through the system. So, Pete, I think you've got a few things going on here. And the biggest factor, Pete, is that you can't retain any heat in all of this steel. It's all a big radiator. And so it's just like when we have people build their first J-tubes and they have all those, and they're trying to do a half barrel system. They have all those half barrels sitting there bare, and they send us crazy messages, on the forums and say, it doesn't work. This is a failure. And the reason it's a failure is because they're shedding all of their heat out of the exhaust and they have no draft. So you've got a whole lot of things working against you here. Now, does that mean it's not going to ever work? Not at all. We can totally get this thing to work, man, because we don't really need much heat to go into the bench. We just, you really are only going to get that top of that thing, top of that bench top to radiate. If you try and push it down too low, you're going to try and radiate out of all that surface area, and you're just going to you don't have enough heat for that. And especially if it's cold out, I think I see frost on your grass. So, you're extracting a ton of heat from this thing. And then on top of that, you've got some leaks, which I know you said you tried to fix, but in this picture in particular, I can see this big air gap around the top of this pipe. And so those things are all working against you. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do. First and foremost, don't try and get these gases so low here. Raise this up. You only need maybe just 3 or 4 inches below this exit, just so the gases come in and, don't go right back out. And you might put a little baffle around this exit as well. Or maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe this is your entrance and this is your exit from way down low, which actually that probably is it now that I'm thinking about it. And so if this is your chimney exit, again, same thing. Just cut this off at about 4 inches, so you're not trying to, by the time those gases get down to the ground there, they're cold. That's the biggest problem, is that if they're scooting along the ground, heading towards your chimney exit there, and they've been in that metal box, there's no heat left. So the best thing you want to do here is try to just make it a shallow pool of hot gases that flow out that bench top. So reduce this chimney height exit, get it up here so you only just got a little, like 3 or 4 inches at the top. That's just going to create a pool of hot gases at the top. That's going to make a huge difference. Secondly, seal your gaps as best you can. And then there's one more thing that's probably the most important of all. And Short Bus Life, he just nailed it, my friends. He's right on the money. His last comment, preheating the flue. Now, one of the things that I do often, and a lot of us do who have stoves of my design, is we use that bypass strategically to manipulate the burn in different times. And so I will often run my bypass open just a hair. And the reason to do that is that it can't exhaust all of the gases out that way, but you can send a very small bit of very, very hot gases into your chimney. And in that way, so you've got maybe 10% of the flue gases going directly to the chimney, but they're crazy hot, right? But the rest of the gases can't go that way because there's not enough cross-sectional area. So they have to go around the horn and go through the whole system. But guess what? They're going to be getting sucked by the speeding gases going out the chimney, and those speeding gases going out the chimney, well, there's a lot more volume in there than you put in there, so they need more to go with them. So they're going to take the air, the gases from out of the inside of the stove and pull it along. Okay? So what I'm going to suggest you do, which you might already have the ability to do it, but make sure your bypass can be manipulated in stages and try running like a half bypass for a while. Once you get the airtight seals and that chimney exit raised up, try to work the stove into running by giving it a little direct injection into the chimney. Now, once you get that bench top warmed up, you might start to be able to close that chimney down. You might not. It's going to depend on temperatures outside. I mean, honestly, even if someone's sitting on it, that's going to make a difference. If you put a cushion on it, that's going to make a huge difference because it'll insulate it. So the difference between, there might be, I was going to say 100 degrees because that's Fahrenheit, but 30 degrees Celsius difference or so between, maybe not that much, but if it's below freezing outside, you could easily have a 100-degree bench top underneath the cushion. So that's a big difference. And that's going to be the difference in your flue gases too. So there's what I think is going on, Pete, is that I just think you've got basically way too much cooling for a very small amount of gas and kind of a small amount of heat since it's a pretty small burner. You just need to balance those things out. And like I said, I think the bypass is going to be your key. If you can get that thing pulling really hard and pulling through the system, and then, once you can get things kind of warmed up, it'll just go a lot better. So hopefully that answers your question.